Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still forming this new pattern in the shorter term, while the price is just about to run into this critical line of support, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still playing out this short-term pullback that I've been talking about over the last few weeks. And of course, this bearish divergence on the daily time frame is still currently active, meaning we should not really be expecting significant bullish momentum, at least in the shorter term. And instead, like I've been saying over the last few weeks, it's very likely we're going to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin continuing here moving forward. But if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this is still showing very low momentum, which once again means we should not necessarily expect a massive move, at least in the short term. And instead, we're likely going to see relatively mild price action like what we've seen over the last 1 to 2 weeks as expected. And now just staying on the daily Bitcoin chart, taking a look at this falling wedge pattern, which is still currently forming as of recording this video. And right now, the support line for this pattern is sitting at around 28.6k approximately, and the resistance is sitting at around 29.3k approximately. And a falling wedge pattern is known as a bullish pattern because roughly around 2/3 of the time a falling wedge breaks out to the upside, and around 1/3 of the time a falling wedge breaks out to the downside. And so statistically speaking, it is more likely for this pattern to break out to the upside than to the downside, but obviously the downside scenario is not impossible, it's just less likely. But if you want to know more about this pattern right here, then check out my last video on the channel, because in that video I went into more detail about this pattern right here. But anyway, staying on the daily Bitcoin chart again, taking a look at this massive trend line, this line of support, which is currently sitting at around 28,500. And as you can see, so far this year, this has proven to be a massive line of support for the price of Bitcoin. These last few times, obviously the Bitcoin price has run into this line of support and seen a significant bounce. And so in the coming days or over the next 1 week or so, we're likely going to see another test of this line. And so obviously that would be an important test for the price of Bitcoin, because if we actually see a break below that ascending line of support, then obviously that would be a bearish signal here on the daily time frame. And in that case, if we actually saw a confirmed break below that ascending line of support, then in that case we would likely see a continued short-term bearish trend for at least the next few weeks after confirming a break below that support. But obviously as of right now, we have not yet confirmed a break below that support. And so, of course, it's still possible we could see yet another bounce from that level. So this will be telling moving forward. And now, if you're zooming into a smaller time frame, taking a look at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, right now, as I've recorded this video, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, which is sitting at around 28.9k. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break below 28.9k, then in that case, once again, we have that ascending line of support at around 28,500. But below that level, our next support would be the 50% retracement level, sitting at around 28,000 to 28.1k. And below that level, we have the golden pocket sitting in between around 27,000 to 27.2k. And as for resistance, in case we see a bit of a short-term bounce back to the upside, then in that case, we have resistance at around $30,000. But once again, overall, just in the shorter term here, we're still lacking momentum. As we can clearly see here on the chart, the price is basically chopping around it sideways, doing nothing too significant, which is what I've been talking about for at least the last 1 to 2 weeks. And now, believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of money very easily during choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and right now the price of ETH is still running into this important area of support, sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, right now the RSI is looking neutral to bearish, while the MACD is still showing very low momentum. And so once again, we're technically technically looking slightly more bearish than bullish just in the short term here. But once again, we have very limited momentum, meaning we should not expect a massive movement, at least for now in the short term. And if you're zooming into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, right now the price of ETH is running into the 50% retracement level, sitting at around 1820 to 1830. And in fact, right now, as we can see over the last few days, the price of ETH has been forming relatively horizontal lows while also forming lower highs, which is technically a bearish price structure and is often called a descending triangle pattern. And so essentially, it is becoming increasingly likely that we could see another move to the downside, at least in the short term here, to continue this shorter term bearish trend. And in that case, if we do actually confirm a break below around 1820, then in that case, our next important area of support is sitting in between around 1760 to 1770 approximately. And below that area, we also have support at around 1710. And as for resistance, in case we do actually see a bounce back to the upside, then in that case, we should expect resistance at around 1870 to 1880. And above that level, we also have resistance at around 1930. But if you're zooming into the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, obviously we still have that descending line of resistance coming into play at around 1850 right now. So once again, if we do actually see another bounce in the short term, then expect resistance immediately at around 1850, and above that, then expect resistance at around 1870 to 1880. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways like it is right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is either bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.